I've been waiting all during the season of Advent for this passage right here. Even Father Kuna offered to take the Mass this morning, and I said no, I couldn't let him do this. There's so much here. It's just, and I learned something new, which is why I'm so excited about all this, and I'll get to that in just a second. So, first of all, you got to, again, as I said so many times, you got to know your Old Testament. If you know the Old Testament, the New Testament really comes to life. And again, you get excited like I do because, you heard this reading so many times. Some of you is a little bit more older than I am, so you heard it a lot more than I have. And you just kind of, just say, okay, that's nice, Mary, greet Elizabeth, yada, yada, yada. Well, first of all, it's a lot of the Ark of the Covenant language is in this passage, making a reference to 2 Samuel with David and the returning of the Ark to Jerusalem. And so David says something along the lines of, how does the Ark of the Covenant come to me? Which kind of mimics what Elizabeth says, how does it be that the mother of my Lord should come to me? Then we have the infant in her womb leaping for joy. David leaps for joy in almost an embarrassing way when the ark finally arrives back from the Philistines, and those types of things. But the highlight of today is that phrase, most blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. It's the second half of our Hail Mary prayer. And remember during the Immaculate Conception, I talked about the first half of it. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. It's the angel Gabriel's greeting to Mary. And as I said, that greeting always signifies a divine mission from God, but a divine mission that's going to be tough to carry out, and it's going to cause a lot of suffering in the person for whom the mission has been granted. But now the second half. Most blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. Again, know your Old Testament. That phrase, most blessed are you among women, has been used 2 other times in the Old Testament. Do you know who they are? I bet you don't, okay? These are more obscure figures in the Old Testament. One is from the book of Judges, chapter 4. Her name is Jael, Jael. Did you ever hear of her? Probably not, okay? I haven't, okay, until my recent research. The other is a woman by the name of Judith. Okay, now she has her own book in the Bible, okay, the book of Judith, which is pretty cool. It's one of those deuterocanonical books, so it's one of those books that are in the Catholic Bible, but not in the Protestant Bible. We'll get into that down the road, another point. So that phrase, most blessed are you among women, have been used to those 2 women. Why? And it's the same reason. Both these women in the Old Testament have shown hospitality towards another person. Both of them have welcomed them into their home. They've served and waited on them. And then they proceeded to cut off their heads. Not making this up. They were enemies. It was kind of like a trick. They were enemies. They were generals looking for comfort and hospitality as they were fleeing the Israelites. And they struck them down. And they're being praised as they're bragging about their victory. They're being praised, most blessed are you among women. Now, how can that pertain to Mary? Well, if you go to Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, to the first gospel being proclaimed after the fall of Adam and Eve, what does God say to Adam and Eve about the serpent? He says, I will strike at your head. So Mary here, what Luke is doing here is Mary is the one, along with the fruit of her womb, who will crush the head of the serpent, fulfilling what was said in the first proto-evangelium gospel message in chapter 3 of Genesis, right after the fall of Adam and Eve, and God promises their salvation. And so when we say that second half of the Hail Mary, not only in the first half are we, again, asking God to be with us in the divine mission and purpose that he's given us in life, But we're then also asking for what? The prayers of the Blessed Mother in the fight against evil. Really, that phrase, most blessed are you among women and blessed is the fruit of your womb. It's almost like a little minor exorcism prayer that we're invoking of our Blessed Mary to protect us, to be our fighter, to crush the head of the serpent that comes into our lives. To what? To what? To get us to sin. You know, it's a fight, a prayer that we use against the struggles of sin and temptation that we fight in our life. So there's nothing nice about this Hail Mary prayer if you think about it. You know, it's a prayer that's definitely invoking God's help and protection through the intercession of our Blessed Mother, through the struggle and toils of trying to be a faithful disciple of God and through Jesus Christ. May God bless you.